Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm here in the outdoors today with this bonnet panel that you might find familiar. It is one of the bonnets that we did an experiment on with the various different coatings. I believe this was about August last year. As you can see, the labels are still up there, so let me introduce you the panels. First we have the bare panel on the left, the traditional wax panel that is coated by Chemical Guys Butter Wet Wax. In the middle, there's the ceramic coating panel, which we also use a Chemical Guys product. Two, in fact, is the Hydro Slick and the Hydro Charge. And we have the crystal coating from Meguiar's. And last but not least, we have our graphene coating. This graphene coating is from the IGL Easy Coat, which is one of our introductory coatings that we offer to our customers. The purpose of today's video is simple. We want to show you the various methods and effects you get when you foam a car using this panel as an example. But at the same time, we would also like to take this chance to show you the various coatings, how well they hold up, how long has it been, it's about 6 months, what should you expect from a coated panels, and how would coating help you wash your car better and more efficiently. Now the panel is a bit dusty where we left it in storage for a while, so as we usually advocate, we will always do a rinse, and of course our pre-rinse product that we have talked about for the previous videos. This is the Beast Cleaner. We're going to use it to remove the contaminants on the paint itself, and if all goes well, we should see a couple of purple droplets as the Beast Cleaner reacts with the dirt and dust. On the car surface, we would take this chance to use the brush to trigger and agitate the grooves. But now we're just going to let it sit. It has been about 3 minutes. You will start to see the product turning a bit purple. Do take note that we haven't used any soap. This is just the Beast Cleaner reacting with the dirt on the panel itself. Now the full 5 minutes have been up, we are going to wash it away with soap. Take note that soap is important for washing away the Beast Cleaners and its contaminants at this stage. Water wouldn't do that much of a job. This is because of the lubricants in the soap itself. Alright, let's start washing. Carrying on from our previous discussion and video where we talked about the difference between a foam gun and a foam cannon, today we're going to try the various methods to foam up a car, which is what we mentioned previously: a 2-bucket system, a pressure pump, a foam gun, and a foam cannon. But before we reach the end of the video, we would just like to pose this question to our viewers. What do you think will happen? What will be the difference between the panels? Will they be able to let the soap glide off faster? Will a coated panel end up being more slippery for the soap? Or will it react the same as a bare panel? Stay tuned to find out. We have washed away the first layer of foam. This is the process we usually refer to as the first foam. It's what we have been discussing in our previous video about how, hey, before we want to touch the car and wash it with the wash mitt or the cloth, we would like to wash away as much contaminants as we can. Now, after we have foamed the car the first time, usually this is where we'll foam it the second time, and then we'll use a wash mitt or a washcloth to actually clean the car using a cloth, doing the cloth wash process. Now, but for this experiment itself, this video, we are just going to foam the car up with the pressure pump again, and we're going to let the foam sit. We want to see how the different panels react to this foam on it. Does it let the foam glide off? Does the ceramic coating help the foam to glide off and bring the dirt and dust away? Or does it react the same way as a bare panel? We're looking forward to find out. Alright, here we have our foam gun. It's from the Pit Stop brand. I believe you can find it very commonly in petrol kiosks, and the setup of it is actually pretty simple. You can attach it to your typical garden hose with just a hose adapter, and it's pretty commonly used and can be commonly used at HDB setups. So we're going to just try this for a while and see how the effect of the foam will be. As we foam out the panel, you might start to notice that the water or the soap water on the panel itself is a bit like diluted. There's not a lot of suds as compared to the pressure pump just now. But this is normal and to be expected because we're using a foam gun. When you use a foam gun, you are like spraying soap water onto the panel itself. But at the same time, you also got to take note of the dilution ratio of the shampoo that you use. Over here, I have a 50-50 shot where I combine two shots of me using one which has a lesser dilution ratio, lesser soap on the left, and one that has higher soap ratio on the right. A friendly reminder that dilution ratio is a very important factor to consider when choosing your shampoo and using your shampoo. Different shampoos have different effects, and to get what you intend for your ride, be it a ceramic shampoo or a wash and wax shampoo, you have to use the product as intended. So it's important to always check the product label or the product description to find out how to best use your shampoo. For any questions or any products, or if you would like to enter a discussion with us about any shampoos or specific products, be sure to drop a comment down below or drop us a message on our social media pages. This is our big boy pressure washer. It comes with the hose and together with the attachment. We got it since we first started detailing and we are a big fan of it. It helps us to do a lot of washing very more efficiently, and today we're going to use it for foaming this little panel. Now, the final way to wash your car, I wouldn't say foam up the car because you're just using soap water mostly, would be to use a 2 bucket system. But a common mistake that many car owners overlook is that they tend to just spray or squirt the soap into the bucket itself without actually foaming up the water. Now, there are many ways to foam up the water. Evidently, you just require you to add water into the soap water, preferably at higher pressure or higher volumes. Now, what we usually do is take a small little bucket and then we pour into the bucket of soap water. This way, you actually get more foam at the top of the whole bucket. Well, there's also this method which I call the teh tarik method, where you really have to lift it up higher just to create more pressure or create more foam. And this is important because if not, you're just using soap water that is not properly foamed up with your cloth onto your car paint. This might cause unnecessary swirls, scratches or damages to your car paint. Now, of course, if you want to have some fun, you have a pressure washer. There are more ways to add foam to the bucket itself. We have a bit of fun with things like this. Now see what we did there? Now that is adding a high pressure water into the bucket itself. Then actually that's a bit too much foam, but it's just to show you how you can foam up your bucket of soap water. The cool thing we like to do on coated panels that we can afford to is an easier drying process. These are commonly the hacks or the shortcuts you may see on videos online. Now, when your car is coated, it actually has a hydrophobic effect. And if it's properly maintained, you wouldn't need to worry about the water beading effect losing its effect over the months. There is a proper way to dry it by splashing more water actually. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you by using the pressure washer first to spray on it, and then I'm going to use a pale water to see how it's drier after you splash water from the top. Now, when I use the pressure washer, it's actually misting the panel itself. But take note how the pressure washer actually creates more water droplets on the panel. Now, I'm going to use a pail of water. I'm just going to splash water on it to see how it usually would drag the water droplets away. Now if you notice, it actually helps with helping to pull the water droplets away, and I did add a few more after as I washed it, but actually if you noticed it, it helps to move away the water droplets and make your drying process easier. So most of the water droplets now are actually at the bottom half of the panel, making the top half a little bit drier than it was before. Of course, this only you can only afford to do this, and it only has the effect when it's on a properly maintained and properly coated car. Now, how do we usually do our maintenance? One of the ways we do our maintenance is to add a layer of spray-on ceramic coating. And one of the products that we use is actually the Sonex Spray and Seal. The Spray and Seal product is a pretty straightforward product. It helps to maintain your car by adding a layer of protection between the car paint and any contaminants. Most importantly, it reacts with water, so after spraying it, you can wash it away with water. One thing we would like to just advise car owners to take note is that if you are using a pressure washer, you have to take note of how you spray it. If you are going to add it at an angle, you might end up spraying the products and the chemicals away instead of letting it work on the entire panel as it rolls down. So usually our preference is that we will be very mindful of how we use a pressure washer when we use a spray and seal, or we will just use a garden hose or buckets of water instead, because that helps us to control where the chemicals, where the spray and seal goes to. It's just something to take note if you're using the spray and seal yourself. Okay, now, so we have talked about the various methods to foam a car. So what do the different panels have in common, or how do they, are they different from each other? Are there any visible differences? Many might feel that, hey, the bare panel on the far left and the graphene coated panel on the far right, both of them seem to have like the same effect. The foam just rolls off, there's no one panel being faster than the other, and you might be right. Panels don't exactly react differently to soap on a visual level. However, a ceramic coated panel will definitely be safer than a bare panel, and this is why. As the soap rolls off the panel, it brings the dirt and the dust down. This happens on a micro level, and if we are not coating the panel properly, or if your panel is bare, as the soap brings down the dirt and dust, you are effectively actually scratching the car. That's when ceramic coating comes into place. Ceramic coating doesn't act as a magical pill for you to effectively no need to wash your car. It will always be clean. It doesn't work that way, but it helps you to protect your car's paintwork and makes washing easier. It's a long-term investment for the maintenance of your car's paintwork and condition. But a long-term investment also comes with maintenance, which is why you should definitely still wash your car from time to time. Now, speaking of washing, one last thing to leave everyone with before we end off today's video. Sonex Singapore's TikTok channel has been pumping out quite a lot of content recently. One of which is a series where the Sonex team actually visits multiple HDB washing bays to teach the neighbors there how to use the washing base equipment to feed the foam cannon or a foam gun. So if you're interested to find out how your washing bay can be used to feed this equipment, you can check it out at their TikTok channel. Supreme Shine also has our own TikTok channel. Over there, I try to be a bit more personal about the life of a detailer, the lifestyles, and the daily routines that we go through. Most importantly, sometimes I also find a time to talk about smaller, shorter topics in the form of short form content. So if you're interested to check it out, please leave a comment there and say hi to us. Alright, that's all for this week's video. Once again, I'm Kirby Ng, your host for the Supreme Shine YouTube channel. See you soon in the next video.